So we have a Stan user that is the final boss of his story. We have a magical girl that is basically Madoka from Madoka Magica. We have a swordswoman that is your typical strong female character in a light novel series. And then we have like a bookworm girl that knows quite a bit and can use magic from another game series. This is looking to be a very interesting cast so far. And the reason why is because I love how the characters are interacting with each other. The chemistry that all of them have with each other, communicating, saying how they feel about the situation, it really makes it for an enjoyable watch. And in all honesty, my inner kid is popping out while watching this show. I remember when I was younger and I was first getting into anime and reading manga, I remember constantly thinking, I wish these type of series could have a crossover. I would love to see these characters have a crossover with these type of characters and just see how they would interact with each other. And that's exactly what we're getting from this series. A bunch of different settings and genres and all that just being slung into one world, which is our world, and seeing how they interact and mess with the laws of physics and everything like that. It's just a very entertaining actual watch. But then, I love the way the magical girl, which I'm just going to call her Madoka, because she's basically Madoka. I love how she realized she can harm people in this world, and she didn't think about it at first, because it makes a lot of sense. These characters come from their own worlds, their own stories, their own set of rules and laws of physics. Obviously, in different stories, there's different, laws of physics that are placed, the rules of how the world works. And because of this, sometimes these different worlds, maybe there's no blood, maybe there's no violence, because obviously it's censored for children to watch or read. And because of that, the magical girl, she didn't have any blood in her world. No one really got hurt. When she was having a battle or whatever, you didn't see it to where maybe the buildings were crumbling and it could possibly kill civilians. That was not happening because her world was designed to where it wouldn't harm others. And because of this, she thought that coming into this world, it would probably be the exact same thing, but she was very wrong. And just seeing a magical girl realizing that she can actually bleed and hurt others, I'm like, holy shit, this just got really dark really quickly, because this character, happy-go-lucky, child, magical girl show she came from, all of a sudden she realizes she can kill people. That's like, yo, and then I love the perspective on the way the characters were communicating with each other. They fit their role and what series they came from. For instance, the magical girl, since she, came from a world that there wasn't a lot of violence, there was no blood or anything like that, the risk of people dying, what our main female character said was very true. She's like, maybe everybody from your world, they're very understanding, and, you can respect them. They can come to kind of a mutual understanding. But in our world, in the world I know and all that, in this world we're currently at, it's completely different. It's a world where you're going to meet some very disgusting individuals that will not listen to reason. They'll still attack you, harm you, or whatever. And I like to see the perspectives of these characters and how they're trying to represent their world, but the rules they know from their world no longer applies here, which that was what was applied to the magical girl. Everything she knows with all the people she met throughout her journey, or whatever she was doing in her series, she can't do that. She can't apply that same logic, because there's going to be people that are just absolutely disgusting, really disgusting individuals, and that's what she's going to have to deal with. So, very self-aware. I love how self-aware this series is with its respective characters and genres it's throwing into it. But then, I also like the actual character that was introduced towards the end of the episode, which was a villain. I didn't really think about that at all, but it makes sense when you factor in what type of story this is and how characters are coming from other stories. We were probably thinking maybe just heroes or something might come from the respective stories, but that isn't the case. Rivals and villains, final bosses, can actually pop up in this world and also interact with individuals. And this Stan user, he's basically a Stan user. He pops up a Stan right behind him. This man, he's like, apparently, I'm the final boss in my story. I'm the final boss. I'm very strong in my world, I'm at the top, pretty much. And final boss of a series, from a light novel series, game, or whatever, when you think about it like that, That's pretty powerful, regardless. Final boss is usually in series, action series, and I'm assuming he's from an action series because of, the sword, the stand behind him. It's pretty damn obvious that he's probably very powerful. You don't want to mess with this man, because if you have the title of final boss, you're gonna be OP. And when I'm looking at this series, I'm thinking, like, since a bunch of different characters are coming from different worlds into our world, there's gonna be a lot of unbalanced fights when I really think about it, because let's just, use an example, okay? Let us say that we throw, okay, let's just say Dragon Ball Z, and then let's say Tokyo Ghoul's world collided, okay? Somehow Goku or Vegeta or even Frieza, okay? Let's just say Frieza pops up in the Tokyo Ghoul universe. That's unbalanced as fuck. Frieza would kill everyone. It would just be a slaughter. It would be a complete joke. And so there is a very unbalanced, theme to this series because of all these characters that could come out of different stories. There can be some really severe balancing issues with the fights because of some of the characters' abilities and powers, and since this dude is a final boss of his series, he's probably broken. Oh yeah, easily broken. So, looking at it like that, I do like that presentation from this series as well. That really adds more interest into it, because I want to kind of see what we're going to get and how the writer is able to kind of keep this as balanced as possible, even though it's going to be very hard, because if you're bringing in different characters from different stories, there's going to be some balancing issues. Anyways, though, another thing I do want to talk about is the fact that the entire theme when it comes to what is going on. For instance, the explanation to why these characters from their stories are coming to our world. I really like the message there, or kind of what it's trying to, convey to us as the watcher, that there is a possible theory or explanation that the reason why these characters are coming from their world, or the reason why they exist in the first place, is because when the writers were writing their stories, they actually had a quick link to another world, which makes sense. In theory, because this series obviously has magic and stuff, in theory, if a writer thinks of a story, they're writing it down and all that, maybe the story they're writing down is actually just them unconsciously linking with another world, and then they're just writing about this other world, and that's kind of what was going on there. That was kind of the explanation to maybe how these characters came into existence, but also maybe how they got here in the first place, because, the worlds collided. Now, that wasn't completely explained, but overall, though, we kind of get a big explanation of maybe how they came about and why they even exist in the first place. Maybe it's just not the traditional, oh, I wrote you into existence and you're here, but maybe it's because their worlds collided, because the writer unconsciously connected to that world and he wrote about them. It's one or the other, but that's a really interesting perspective to the series when you think about it, because when you look at recreators, okay, if, that is happening, like, this world, all these different worlds have been written, and, humans wrote them, and then now these, different beings are coming from their stories, wants to say that the world they're in hasn't been written. I mean, think about that. That'd be fucking insane. That would be insane if that's really what happens for this story. Anyways, though, another thing I do like about this is how quickly it is into introducing the writers/creators of these individual characters, and it's very fascinating to see the way these, characters interact with, their creators. It would definitely be very weird. I mean, imagine this, okay? All of a sudden, one day, you find out that you're in a story or whatever, and then you pop out, and you get to talk to your creator, you get to talk to God, and you're like, and God's not what you think it is. You didn't understand, like, you thought it was something else, but it wasn't. You're like, this is who wrote me into existence, and you're like, how am I supposed to interact? And you're telling me I went through all of this because of you, because you just wanted to seek entertainment or something? That's really cool stuff, and I like that. I really, really fucking love that when it comes to this series, these characters interacting with their, creators, and seeing what they think. It makes me really kind of think about something, like, hypothetically, like, what if, okay, this is just a what if, like, let's say Guts was to come into this series. Now, I know that's not going to happen, but, like, let's say Guts was to come into this series. I wonder what he would do to his mangaka, the writer, Kentaro. I'm very curious what Guts would do, because if you think about Guts' story from Berserk, and then if he came into the world and got to meet his creator, oh god, that man was probably he's gonna kill someone. Guts is gonna kill someone. Oh, Guts is definitely going to kill someone. But anyways, though, I gotta admit that this episode met my expectations. It's better than the first episode. Music, beautiful music, but it still does have the possibility of turning to absolute shit. That possibility is still there. A lot of series have that possibility from this season, and I'm really worried about that, because, I mean, I like this series. I really, really am enjoying what I am seeing, but I am fearful that it's going to turn into dog shit, and I'm going to be just very disappointed, because there's such a good concept here that's going on, that it makes it for a really good show to watch on an already packed weekend, and I do not want to be disappointed in this series. Hopefully it continues to be good, and it doesn't turn to absolute shit. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love y'all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.